This is Jazz Haven, broadcasting live from studios in downtown New Haven, Connecticut, at WNHHLP, streaming on the World Wide Web at newhavenindependent.org, and at the jazz station WETF-LP, South Bend, Indiana, streaming at jazzradio.wetf.org. And you would stand the man with the jazz.
There was ever a man who was generous, gracious, and good. That was my dad, the man. A human being so true, he could live like a king 'cause he knew the real pleasure in life to be devoted to and always stand by me, so I'd be unafraid and free. If there was ever a man who was generous, gracious, and good, that was my dad, the man. Yeah, oh. There was ever a man who was generous, gracious, and good. That was my dad, the man. A human being so true, he could live like a king, 'cause he knew the real pleasure in life to be devoted to and always stand by me, so I'd be unafraid and free. If there was ever a man who was generous, gracious, and good, that was my dad, the man, the man, the man.
That's late jazz vocalist Leon Thomas, reminding us that this Sunday is Father's Day, so he was honoring his father, and we should all do the same. Song for My Father, actually composed by Norwalk, Connecticut's own Horace Silver, and that's from an October 1969 recording, Spirits Known and Unknown, on the Flying Dutchman label. And we started Jazz Haven with the Curtis brothers. Two brothers, Zakai Curtis on the piano, Lucas Curtis on the bass, and it's off of a recording called Algorithm, recorded back in 2019. Tune we heard was 3 Points in a Sphere, and that describes the logo for the Artist Collective in Hartford. Now, the Curtis brothers started their musical education at the Artist Collective, an organization started by alto saxophonist Jackie McLean and his wife Dolly back in the 60s, I believe, when he moved here from New York, moved to Hartford. And just for your information, Zakai Curtis won the Grammy this year for the Best Latin Jazz Recording, Cubop Lives. And assisting them on this recording were their mentors, Brian Lynch on the trumpet, Donald Harrison on the alto sax, and the late Ralph Peterson on the drums. Coming up today on Jazz Haven, we've got some music from one of the bands that will be performing this week right here in Connecticut. We got the latest from vocalist Abina Kumson Davis, new music from Diego Rivera and Brad Turner. But first, for the second week in a row at the top of the jazz recording charts in the USA and Canada, pianist Cyrus Chestnut from his latest release, Rhythm, Melody, and Harmony. best drummer Richard Barata and it's off his latest release called Looking Back. You may have recognized that tune as tune written by singer James Brown, I Feel Good, and written and performed by James Brown. And we started the set with, Richard Barada is going to be in Connecticut this weekend. A little more about that with the jazz calendar. We started the set with pianist Cyrus Chestnut, who for the second week in a row has the #1 jazz recording in the nation. And that's Rhythm, Melody, and Harmony on the High Note label. With the tune we heard was Song for the Andes. Stacy Dillard there on the tenor saxophone, Gerald Cannon bass, and Chris Beck on the drums. The Jazz Haven Jazz Calendar is a quick rundown of some of the jazz in the area this week. It's Wednesday, June 11th, and each and every Wednesday at the Owl Shop Cigar Lounge and Bar in downtown New Haven, it's Kevin St. James and his quintet. They play from 9 until midnight, and there's no cover. NMCC, no music cover charge. And on Friday the 13th, don't let that scare you, you should join jazz historian and curator Frank Cochran at the Institute Library in downtown New Haven for that great listening experience beginning at 5:15 p.m. And you bring your own munchies and drinks and gain that unique listening experience. It's free and open to the public, and donations are accepted to deter expenses. Featured this Friday is part 2 of the great female vocalist in the mid-century. That's 1950s. NMCC. Then there's that final in the spring concert series at Firehouse 12, downtown New Haven. And this week, it's drummer Dean Weiss and his quartet. And there's always 2 shows, 8:30 p.m. and 10 p.m. You can get tickets online or at the box office. This is the final of the spring concert series. And this weekend at Connecticut's premier jazz spot, the Side Door Jazz Club at the Old Lime Inn. On Friday, it's the drummer we just heard, Richard Barada, and his sextet, the Gotham City Latin Jazz Sextet. On Saturday, it's vocalist April May Webb and her quintet. Both nights, performances begin at 8 p.m. On Saturday, June 14th, celebrate the music of Brazil with Joe Carter and his Samba Rio Trio. And you can also celebrate the 50th birthday of the Trumbull Public Library. And that all takes place at the Trumbull Public Library at 11 a.m. on Saturday, and it's free and open to the public. Then there's the Historic Jazz Jam at Cafe 9, downtown New Haven, 4 to 7 p.m. All musicians are welcome to sit in after the first set. Featured this week, guitarist Gary Grippo, bassist Jeff Fuller, drummer and pianist and trumpeter Barry Reese. And on Sunday, June 15th, Father's Day. How about a Father's Day brunch at Quattro's Italian Restaurant and Bar in Guilford from noon to 3 p.m. with Dr. G, Gary Grippo, Barry Reese, and saxophonist Billy Cope Francis, NMCC. And then finally on Monday, June 16th, it's Pat Todd's Tuxedo Junction, that 17-piece big band that swings in Guilford at the VFW Hall, beginning at 7 p.m. That concludes the jazz calendar. Go to jazzhaven.org for the complete calendar and updates. Check out some jazz this week. It's America's only original art form. Here's something new from pianist Brad Turner and his trio plus one, Mr. Charles.
Don't hurry the day. Find your way, a step at a time. Heart aligned, easy come, easy go, easy stay, easy flow. Don't worry about what you can't control. Find the things in life that soothe your soul. Mama told you that the road would be rough, but give you what you need to handle your stuff. Easy sun, easy moon, easy rain, easy star. Easy sun, easy moon, easy rain, easy
That's new. Brand new from tenor saxophonist Diego Rivera off his release West Circle, and the tune he wrote, Fungi. And we started that set with Brad Turner, pianist, off his latest release, It's All So. And we heard the tune Mr. Charles. It's on the Cellar Music label. Following that was Connecticut's own jazz vocalist, Abina Coomson Davis, off her latest release, Where Is Love? And we heard the tune Easy with husband Steve Davis, Rick Germanson, Nat Reeves, Willie Jones III, Joshua Bruno, Mike DeRubbo, and Tony Davis. That's an octet. We want to thank you for tuning in to Jazz Haven, broadcasting from our beautiful studios here in downtown New Haven, Connecticut, streaming at newhavenindependent.org, and the jazz station WETFLP, South Bend, Indiana, streaming worldwide at jazzradio.wetf.org. It's been a pleasure being your host here, Stan the Man on the set, and we've had a great time playing the music. We hope you enjoyed it, and we look forward to the next time, and we'll see you on the radio. Taking us home is tune brand new from alto saxophonist Greg Abate and his quartet. And we're going to hear the title track, Positive Energy.